Hello, I'm Nate the Effing Great, and what did I just watch? Guys, it is that time again. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. It is time to be talking about a certain story, a Star Wars story, known as Solo. And it is indeed spoiler-filled, so indeed expect that. Don't say I didn't warn you. General thoughts about Solo was that as I was going in, I was very hesitant. I was actually a bit scared because I thought this was going to tank. I did not have much faith in this movie. Leaving this movie, I was happily surprised at how this movie turned out. It definitely did a great job of telling where Han came from. It, of course, went back to his home planet, where he, of course, had, a love interest played by the lovely Emilia Clarke. Absolutely amazing. I honestly loved her work, and I think I need to watch more of her stuff. Han and Kira is the name of the love interest. Were trying to get off the planet. Unfortunately, they got separated, and Han ended up working for the Empire, trying to get into a Imperial fleet, and actually it was the Empire that gave him the name Solo, because he was a loner. It was kind of one of those weird inside jokes that just made it seem like, okay, so he's Han, and he's by himself, so Solo. Huh, okay then. It went on to where he would find out about a bunch of hustlers, or, I'm trying to remember who they were. It was basically where they met up with, Woody Harrelson's character, and he met up with his crew, and this is where it eventually evolves into him meeting up with Chewie. Then they met up with the Tobias. I'm sorry, Tobias' character. I want to say that before somebody starts giving me a hard time. Then it kind of evolves from there. We get introduced to, and we have the reunion of Emilia Clarke's character, Kira, as well as her lead captain. I want to figure out what the hell his name is, but I think I'm probably going to forget. I'm going to look it up really quick. But it is also the guy who plays Vision, which is very interesting because he still has that same kind of tone about him. He's very soft-spoken, not very... you definitely could tell when he gets angry because his eyes look like they're just basically popping out of his head. It's legitimately one of the most bizarre things you'll ever see, but it honestly isn't the worst thing. I'm trying to think here. Let's see here. Dryden Voss was the name of his character. Met with him, and then they basically then get involved into the run to the. Oh my gosh! How could I be forgetting this stuff already? The run to through the Kessel. Oh, the Kessel Run. There we go. I do apologize. I'm trying to remember most of these deals. We get basically where the Kessel Run came, where it came to be. We got introduced to the Millennium Falcon, Lando Calrissian, played by Danny Glover, who did an absolutely amazing job. Then they brought the supplies back to Dresden, and then it really got kind of confusing in this part because it was like, these people turned on this person, then there was a setup for this person, and setup for this person, and setup for this person. It evolved so much into some really weird stuff. But in all honesty, like I said, it wasn't that bad. In the end, Kira leaves Han, and Han finds Lando and wins the Millennium Falcon from him, and then they head off to Tatooine to deal with a gangster. Of course, a lot of us know that being Jabba the Hutt, but of course they didn't get to that part. General thoughts about this movie was that the pacing was actually pretty good. I didn't have that many complaints. They definitely gave every single spot that they were at time. I definitely could tell that they were building up the Chewbacca Han Solo relationship quite a bit. At first they were just kind of like there with each other, but then it built on from there to where Chewie at first was looking for his family, and when he did, he basically chose Han over them, as almost as if to signify that he sees Han as his real family. So it was kind of one of those tender moments that, no words were needed to be spoken. It was just kind of there. It was really good. The relationship between Kira and Han was very much forbidden, but at the same time, I thought it was still very good. And I guess you can also understand why he kind of had this kind of disdain towards women. I think it kind of did build up a bit with his relationship with Leia in New Hope as well as Empire Strikes Back. I mean, after basically being dumped by a girl, you can't really blame him for having that entire idea about women. I mean, of course, he'll just think about that because Leia was a princess. But again, when they introduced Lando, I think that's where a lot of people were just really, really excited. Danny Glover, oh my gosh, he did an amazing job. He gave, Lando that charisma. He gave him that confidence. He definitely kind of gave him that great deal that, Billy D. Williams brought to the Lando character years ago. And a lot of people are definitely very high on him. And, Alan Heinrich, who played Lando in this movie, did a great job too, honestly. I think that he really did fit the bill for this. Woody Harrelson was kind of like a comedic character, but he also did play a bit of a crucial part at the end, being the one that turned on Han. And also there came a point where it was like a shootout between Tobias, Woody, and Alan Han. And it was one of those situations where we get that joke of, Han shot first. It's kind of one of those, small jokes, I think, that people kind of really... It was kind of one of those Easter eggs that, people probably don't remember. I'm just thinking about that. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's right, because Han shot first in the cantina. Right. So, all in all, this, again, I thought it was a really good movie. I thought the Kessel Run deal definitely served its course. They actually pulled a bit of a surprise for me because they did the whole card game that featured Lando versus Han. They did two times they did this. The first time Lando won, then the second time Han won. But the second time, Han found out that Lando was cheating, so he actually turned the tables on Lando, and that's how he won the Millennium Falcon. I thought that was actually very good. And I'm actually going to talk a little bit more about Lando next Thursday. We're going to be talking a bit about things that are going on with entertainment and movies and stuff like that. So I'll get into that more later. But getting back to this, a lot of people were definitely criticizing it because of either the length and the fact that it didn't really bring anything on to anything new to the story of Star Wars. And let me just preface this on this. I really do feel like Han Solo the Solo, A Star Wars Story, wasn't really something that just kind of brought into the Star Wars universe, but it was indeed more of a spin-off. And if I have to, I have the spin-off definition right here. It says, spin-off, a byproduct or incidental result of a larger product. Well, I don't think we can really call it that. But the second one I think really does make sense. A product marketed by its association with a popular television program, movie, personality, etc. So it is something that is marketed by Star Wars and by Lucasfilms, and the final one was a subsidiary of a parent company that has been sold off, creating a new company. That's not at all what this is. With Solo, though, I feel like there was some things that did add on. Like I said, it definitely gave a little more character to Han Solo. A lot of people looked at Han as, the badass of it, but obviously you kind of look at it, he wasn't really that heroic at times. He was a little bit of a coward, and that still showed in this movie, and it kind of explained also, why he did that. And there were also times where he knew when to fight back, so I actually respected that part, and I loved that they brought that up. I also want to mention that there came a point where Kira was actually making a communicative call to somebody, and the person that she was talking to was, major spoiler, Darth Maul. So this is one of those things that I look at and think to myself, well, now I have more questions. I want to know, what's her relationship with Darth Maul? How does she kind of play into this? Does she maybe become a Sith Lord? Does she maybe get involved in the next set of Star Wars movies that are going to come out? Because it's probably going to happen. Or maybe is it one of those things that they do a sequel for maybe a Solo 2 movie? You never know. It's one of those things that does raise the question, because especially when Darth Maul says, report back to me, we're going to work more closer together. Maybe there's a chance that she and Maul have a relationship. Maybe there's a chance that she is under his tutelage and his mentorship, whilst Maul was still under that mentorship from Darth Sidious. Maybe it was like the same thing with Luke and Darth Vader, where she was going to be the one that took down Palpatine. I don't know. It's one of those things that does raise a lot of questions. And, maybe, again, she's going to play into the future Star Wars movies that comes out. Maybe it comes out in a second Solo movie. In all honesty, it's one of those things I want to know. Honestly, I would love to see Emilia Clarke get more involved in this. I think she does an amazing job. I would love to see, Alan Heinrich come back. Seeing Chewie in this was absolutely amazing. And, again, Danny Glover as Lando was absolutely amazing. He knocked that role out of the park. There's just so many answers that I want for this. And I know a lot of people are going to be complaining because either it doesn't add on to the story, or the fact that it just is just a random movie that's kind of there. Well, you have to look at some of the movies that are also being planned out right now. There's going to possibly be a Lando movie. There's going to be a Boba Fett movie. There's possibility of a, Knights of the Old Republic movie. And honestly, not all of them are going to tie into the original Star Wars. Like I said, they're going to be spin-off movies. They're going to be movies that are going to be more focused on these characters. And I am totally okay with that. I would much rather see a different side of these, of these characters than deal with the same old, same old. I would love to see, new characters being formed. There was a show that my friend Max was telling me about, Star Wars Rebels, in which they really tapped into a lot of different things that were going on between Episode 3 and Episode 4. So for them to continue these ideas of, having new characters kind of showing up and new characters, being explained as to, what their importance is, that's great. I think that would be amazing. So I say keep going with these solo movies. If we get maybe like a Princess Leia movie, I think that would actually be pretty cool. Maybe they can involve more a little bit with, Chewbacca. I think Chewie might do okay with the solo movie. No, I think he's more of a supporting character now, thinking about it. Bringing a Darth Maul character. Some people were saying maybe a Darth Vader movie. And some people, of course, have made the argument of, well, Darth Vader already had his movies with, the original trilogy. Maybe there's people that want to see what happened between Episode 3 and 4. And maybe those are just better off in just the comics. Who knows? Bottom line is, a lot of these spin-off movies are not a bad thing. They really expand the imagination, and they really expand different things that are going on in the Star Wars universe, and I'm okay with that. That's one of the things that makes also Marvel great, is that they do that. Is that they take new characters, they get them their own field to work with, and if it's a success, great. If it's not, then, well, hey, at least they tried. And in the end, they're all going to somehow, boil together into either the Star Wars universe, or they're going to boil up and be something else, something absolutely amazing. So, honestly, all in all, I thought it was pretty good. Final rating for it, I would give this about a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It was good. Not quite one of the best movies that I've seen. I think it's just, there was a lot of nostalgia that felt to it for me, where it's like, oh, we're going to see Han, and there was a lot of moments where you knew some of the certain characters were coming up. It's like, oh my gosh, we're going to see, yes, we get to see Chewie. And then, yes, we get to see Lando. We get to see the Kessel Run. We get to see this. And after that nostalgia kind of wears off, you kind of realize, well, I mean, that's all it was just nostalgia. Some people, the nostalgia still kept in throughout the movie. Others, it was just like, oh, hey, we got this. Okay, it's kind of... But, like I said, it's not a horrible movie. I would definitely suggest watching it once. But yeah, all in all, I think Star Wars did a great job with this. So thank you so much for enjoying this review of Solo, a Star Wars movie. Again, you can always follow me on Twitter at RealEffingGame. You can also follow my co-host Max and Victory Bell on their Twitters as well. Be sure to give us a like on our Facebook fan page. And always, guys, love your support. Give us a like, give us the comments. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below. What you think of Solo, a Star Wars movie. So I have been Nate the Effing Great. It is indeed June. It is indeed going to be absolutely insane. So expect more crazy podcasts coming from me. So thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye-bye.